Hello my dear friends from down under. I'm so happy to talk to you, and it's really delightful to see that it is already the second online conference. I hope that I soon can travel to Australia and meet you in person. My name is Dr. Thomas Gloger and we are from Apizentrum Ruhr. I wrote a book about the apitherapy. And we are doing Apilarnil since more than 10 years. We are producing it, and we have, of course, a lot of application knowledge gathered in this very long period. Yeah, my talk goes over Apilarnil from bees, and let's go a little bit and see how this product fits into the other products from the bees. I like this TCM scheme. Also, I'm not a TCM specialist, but you see the 5 elements of traditional Chinese medicine. Bee venom, for example, is fire. And our Apilarnil I'm talking today is water, and it's close to royal jelly. And we will see royal jelly and Apilarnil are like yin and yang. And we will see a lot of similarities, but also some differences. So this is a good scheme, especially when you think about allergies. So when you have a bee venom allergy, you see that, for example, propolis is working against the bee venom in a way, and that's the truth, meaning when you have one pollen allergy, you should eat honey and also using the other bee products to get rid of the allergy. Let's look on the history of Apilarnil. Here we see the inventor, Nicolae Iliescu from Romania. He wrote a book. No, he wrote a couple of books, and it had to do historically with the arrival of the Varroa mite in Europe. And the best technique was the drone frame cutting, which is still today the technique of good control. So, but this gives a lot of drones, and so Nicolae Iliescu, he saw that his chicken, the small chicken, are very well growing with that, and he started looking at this phenomenon, and he more or less invented Apilarnil, and it culminated in 1983. He patented Apilarnil in the US, which was exceptional in the time of Cold War, that you go to your war enemy and do a patent there. So he was protected by the party. He came from a village close to Ceausescu, and the freeze drying where Apilarnil is done was developed in the neighborhood in Moldova, where the Moldovan Republic of the Soviet Union supplied a lot of food for the Soyuz, for the space shuttles from the Russian time at that time. So to make it easier for you, the Apilarnil, we talk about api. This apis Latin, the bee, like larva, and nil like Nicolae Iliescu, so the guy took his name here. But when you look in other literatures, then we talk also about drone milk, so that is a common name in the Russian literature, and it's very similar also to Turkish language, where we talk about the queen milk, so in the drone milk, which is also looking like a milk when you squeeze the larva. So the original Apilarnil product contains drone wood and perga and honey. So this is very, very important to keep in memory, because you have the synergies of the bee products all together. Of course, in that time, freeze drying was only something for real special people, so for the cosmonauts, and so that was of course the drone brood was also something very, very precious, but it's still today a very costly process, and you can enhance the drone brought with the other bee products. So today we produce Apidrone. We have a trade name, call it Apidrone. But when you look back behind the times of Romanian Nicolae Ilesiu, then you see in Africa, in Asia, there are a lot of ethnic kitchens where not only bee larvae are used, and yeah, all these larvae are used like a liquid egg, so very sensitive material, very quickly to use, very high in the nutrition values we will see from the Apilarnil. And so when you are looking for recipes, there are recipes of the FAO. You can find a lot of Apilarnil recipes for cakes, for example. So let's go here. These are the Drohne Frames. You know them very well. Here, very nice material, uncapped material. Also the beekeepers like the capped material, really to get rid of the drones. And we calculated in a research project in Germany that alone in Germany there are several thousand tons of Drohne Frames thrown away. Yeah, here again, this is a real nice one, very nice, but uncapped, so there is no loss of varroa mites, so that the beekeepers don't like it so much. Let's look on the composition. The composition is here based on dry matter, so on the freeze-dry material. We have about 1/3 of proteins and amino acids. We have, and here is to say that we have a lot of amino acids which are vital, so which the human body cannot produce. We have 1/4 is sugars, fructose, furanose, maltose, isomaltose. This isomaltose is very interesting because, for example, this sugar doesn't exist in the royal jelly. Then we have lipids, and lipids means fats, but it means also components of cell membranes, of nerve membranes, a lot of phosphate things. So we will see later the brain function is influenced by this, and you see already here this high content. And then you have a lot of minerals, of course. It is the phosphate, the copper, but also others. We have a lot of vitamins A, E, all the B complex, of course the beta carotene, then some messengers like choline. We have polyphenols, we have stem cells, and we have hormones, human hormones, so testosterone, estrogen. We have 10 times more of hormones than in royal jelly are found. It's slightly acidic, and when you look on this composition, you see, you cannot say this is proteins. This is normally people put it in a drawer under proteins, but for me it's this composition, this miracle composition. In the end, when you look back on the frames, on the single individuum, then you see there is one drone is produced in each cell, and there is no rubbish afterwards. This is very, very few of rubbish, and this means that everything of this is vital, including the sugars as a source of energy, and of course also the lipids, as the nerve function must work, and to facilitate this process the hormones here, the choline. So we have growth rates of 100% a day or more than that. Very astonishing things. If humans have to do this, there would be not possible. So we have, the question is the mode of action, and the mode of action is characterized by 3 things. That first of all, I already mentioned the micronutrients. I already mentioned the amino acids, and also these these building blocks where the liver of the human being has not to do much. But let's go a little bit faster. We have the messenger on the hormones. They are responsible for activation. They give a male organism, which is a counterpart of the royal jelly, which gives a female or a queen organism, improves the conduction in the nerves and the brain, regulates the metabolism, and has antiviral and stimulation of the immune system. So this naked larva lying in this comb is protected from its outer skin from the bacteria and the world which would like to kill it. And of course, these are very basic information which obviously are transferred to creatures like us. We are more developed, but we still can receive this kind of information on a chemical way. We go. Yeah, we have indications, and the time is very short, so I will go through a little bit later in more detail. We have unclear causes. We have developmental disorders for children. We have typical women problem. We have typical male problem. And yeah, you might have heard it that the Apilarnil was the green Viagra. Today it's the least application because it's too slow for the people. The people want a pill and something happening in 30 minutes. With Apilarnil, it takes cycluses, so meaning woman cyclus, 28 days, sperm cyclus, 60 days. So when you go within these 60 days one time in the sauna and cook the sperm, then the fertility also goes down the drain. So we have these fertility problems we have today. I have this, and then we have the metabolism. So let's go a little bit faster about the unclear causes. We have these depression things where people come to us and the doctors say that because they suffer so long, they also physically, mentally affected. Also, it's a physical weakness, and there especially bee products and especially Apilarnil is very good. So we have children, development problems with children, chronic nerve disorders, memory problem, but also epilepsy. Here I know a case for cystic fibrosis who lives quite a good life by getting always Apilarnil, puberty disorders. And then we have these things which have the most application is women disorders, so menopause and here miscarriage, improved lactation. And to understand, I think it looks a little bit weird, but when you look on that, what's happening here after a woman gives a birth to a child, the whole hormone balance has to be flipped from being making a child to giving milk to a child, and that gives a lot of hormonal things. Changes have to be done. And the same is in the menopause, that this hormonal shift has to be done, and especially Apilarnil is helping with that. The same with men. We have a lot of studies on animal. I know a very good study for spermatogenesis, for volume, number, mobility, and the offsprings are more healthy, so that's very good. And I only want to highlight here the prostata inflammation, where we use the Apilarnil together with green propolis. The green propolis fights the inflammation, and the Apilarnil shrinks the prostate, so it has a positive influence there. So yeah, I already mentioned fertility problems. There we have a running study at the moment that is really a pressing problem today with with young couples that they cannot get children. Nobody talks about it, but when you talk with healers and specialized doctors, then they tell you about long queues in front of their doors. So metabolism, we have sports, we have diabetes, and we have alcohol-related digestive problems, which are very good studied, because in this communist time where Apilarnil was invented, the communist elite had nothing else to do than drinking and partying. And when you drink too long and too often, then this with the girls doesn't work. So here this was the miracle to cure that. And today we are more on sports, endurance, and muscle build up is done very supported by Apilarnil. So here I cannot tell you too much about the hormonal influence. We have, as a conclusion, I want to give you the dosing. It's 1 to 3 grams a day. It can be case-wise up to 20 grams a day. You should do it in a regimen of 1 to 3 months or even longer. I talked about the cycluses, sperm cycles over 60 days. So if you really want to achieve something, then you have to wait 3 cycluses till really the body has recovered and is more capable in doing the right things. So children have get less, of course, according their weight. We have other bee products like honey, like propolis, for immune stimulation, bacteria. We have the green propolis, I already said here, for inflammation of prostata problems, where we have this real good synergy, where we have really a lot of experience. Then the perga with the microbiome improvement, and the royal jelly is the booster. You can always use 2/3 royal jelly and 1/3 of Apilarnil for women, and for male the opposite. So yeah, of course, bee venom is also a special case, hive air allergy. So this is the bee products support each other. This is very important to keep in mind. And when you give more than 1 bee product, then you have an equation which is 1 + 1 is more than 2. Important is overdosing is in principle not possible. And men don't take it before bed, so best is before 12 o'clock. Otherwise it activates too much and disturbs the sleep. And it does not interfere with an ongoing chemotherapy, so you can use it. If you want to stop it during chemotherapy, okay, but then dose it stronger afterwards to recover. So 1 dose fresh, 3 doses fresh are 1 dose from the freeze dry. This is very important to keep in mind for calculation purposes. Yeah, here is my book. It got a gold medal. We will send it also to Australia. The charges are sending to Australia are lower than sending into Australia, so we have no dealer there. You can contact me here with, you find it on our website, Apizentrum Ruhr. If you have other questions, then you can, or private question, you always can contact me. And I don't know how it's working now with the questions. If your questions are not covered today, then let me know and we can find a way how to answer your problems. So I thank you very much, and I thank the Australian team for organizing this conference, and I wish you a very good time.